If you're a fan of Loops and Threads Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn and exclusively use it for your plushies, you might already know the struggle. It disappears from the stores for longer periods of times. There are inconsistencies with the quality of the yarn, and we are also limited by the color choices, especially after the discontinuation of home slim yarn because they could be used interchangeably. And I am no different. I love Sweet Snuggles Lite, and I have been on the hunt for true replacement for Sweet Snuggles Lite for a very long time. And if you have been an avid watcher on my channel, you already know that. I was looking for the exact replacement, not just any chenille yarn in the market, because some of them are thinner, some of them are blanket-like, and I was also not on the hunt for something that feels or looks like velvet. I wanted something that works exactly the way Sweet Snuggles Lite works and has exactly the same feel and same appearance as to Sweet Snuggles Lite. And if you agreed to everything I just said right now and you related to it, I think this video is going to be just for you because I might have found the replacement for Sweet Snuggles Lite, and we are going to be comparing them side by side today. Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing great, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Tuba and I'm a crochet artist and a designer, and on this channel I make videos related to crochet. So if that is something you're interested in, come join in and subscribe. So as I said in the introduction of this video, today we will be comparing Sweet Snuggles Lite with another yarn that I found as a replacement for Sweet Snuggles Lite, and that yarn is ta-da! Premier Parfait Plush yarn. I did not know this yarn existed until last week, I believe. That is when I placed a very huge order of this yarn online on Premier's website and also on Mary Maxim's website, because I wanted to try out a few avenues to see what options do I have being a Canadian, because Premier yarns, they're not available within Canada. You have to order them online. So yes, I have a huge order of this yarn that I purchased, and I showed you the yarn haul in my previous video, which if you have not checked it out, I will put it up here somewhere. You can go check it out. Anyhow, so today we are going to be putting it to test, and we are going to be comparing it with the Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn, my most favorite yarn so far. And I do have some home slim yarn as well, which has been discontinued. I do have some skeins left from some of the projects. So yes, we are going to compare all of these yarns to find out if these are replaceable. They can work together in the same projects if they behave the same way and everything. So let's just get right into it. Okay, first let me just give you a little background of why I was on hunt for a replacement for Sweet Snuggles Lite and what prompted me to make this video. So if you have used Sweet Snuggles Lite in the past, you might already know all of this and you might already agree to all of this, but for people who do not know, so Sweet Snuggles Lite is my most favorite yarn, and the reason that it is my most favorite yarn is because of how it feels and the thickness of this yarn. And I don't know, the overall feel of this yarn is really good. I really love it for my plushies, even though some people hate it because of how much it frays and splits. But for me, I find it the best yarn to work with. It does not tire my hands, and the plushies that I make with this yarn, I absolutely adore them. So you can already see I'm really biased towards Sweet Snuggles Lite. So when the yarn drama was happening last year, where Sweet Snuggles Lite was off the shelves for a very long time, and this was not just the one-time occurrence, it also happened the previous year. So towards the end of 2024 and early 2025, this yarn was unavailable. Then in 2025, almost full year, it was not available for purchase on the shelves. And since I used it exclusively for my business, I knew that I needed a replacement, because I could not run a business depending on a yarn that was like unreliable for me. So yes, that prompted me to like look for alternatives. And another reason was that there have been like quite a lot of like quality inconsistencies with this yarn, where some of the skeins, they are like good quality skeins as this one, and there would be other skeins that do not feel anything closer to this yarn. And I do have some of those bad quality skeins with me as well, and I will definitely like put some screenshots or like videos of those yarns here. But to whoever has used those yarns, they might already know what I'm talking about. So yeah, they were not as soft as this yarn. They had like different thickness to them, they had very different feel to them, and just by looking at the yarn, it did not look this neat and it looked really disheveled. Anyhow, those were the two main reasons that I was looking for alternatives. Then something else happened in 2025 that also prompted me to look for alternatives to Sweet Snuggles Lite, which is the sister line for Sweet Snuggles Lite, which is this home slim yarn. It got discontinued. And some of the colors for this line were merged into Sweet Snuggles Lite, but Sweet Snuggles Lite in its originality was a pastely, like very softer color line, and Home Slim was supposed to be like brighter and very punchier colors. So both of them combined, you had a very good range of colors available to work with because you could use them interchangeably. But with the discontinuation of the Home Slim line, you were very short on the color options available, and the remaining colors, like some of the colors, they did merge into Sweet Snuggles Lite, but the colors that they did choose did not like help at all, because this way now you have like quite a few options in the blue or like teal category, and then you have some pinks like peaches and pinks, but you do not have like true greens, so to say, and there is only one green available in the Sweet Snuggles Lite line, which is like that pastely green that you see in the background, that is like very soft green color. So if you, for example, needed a leaf green color or a forest green color, that was not available. And then there were no reds, no browns even. So these are some basic colors that you do require when making your plushies, and that was such a disappointment. So now I think you are all caught up on all the reasons that I was looking for a replacement for Sweet Snuggles Lite, because I wanted one, consistency in quality, number two, availability, and number three, color range. So these are the three main reasons that I was looking for an alternative, and I think Parfait Plush solves all of these problems. Premier, I don't think like they run out of yarn, or there has been any instances where the yarn has been like unavailable on the shelves for very long periods of time, except for some colors that do go out of stock because they are very popular colors, but that is to be expected for anything that is popular. Other than that, I have not seen any complaints about the unavailability of Parfait or like any Premier yarns, so to say. The color options available on the Parfait Plush line, they are like quite a lot of colors. So some of the colors, they're exactly the same as are available in Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn, but then they also have the reds, as you can see in my hand right here. They also have the browns, which I will show you later. They also have the greens, which I really love. And so with that, I think I do have quite a lot of range of colors to choose from. And I think as a plushie maker, you would all agree that we do need quite a lot of like variety in our colors, especially the primary colors like blues and greens and true reds, and also like brown and like shades of different browns, because they are really characteristic of the plushies that we make. If we are making animals, then these colors are really important. So I think having a wide range of color availability in a yarn line is very important for us as amigurumi makers. So that was another concern for me. So coming to the point of what I was looking in a yarn that would be the replacement for Sweet Snuggles Lite, and I will be looking down here because these are the things that I was looking for. So I wanted a similar thickness, because most of the plushies that I do make are made with Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn, and like when you are making an inventory, you cannot have like varying sizes and charge them the same. So since most of my plushies were made in Sweet Snuggles Lite, I wanted a yarn that was similar or comparable in size to the Sweet Snuggles Lite variants so that I can price them equally and like there is a consistency in my inventory. Then I wanted a similar feel in hand, not just because of like how the plushie feels, but also it was really important for me personally while making the plushie that it feels the same way in my hand, because as I told you in one of my previous yarn comparison videos, some of the yarns, for example the blanket yarns, they tire out my hand quite a lot and they cause friction burns. So Sweet Snuggles Lite is the yarn that does not cause me any friction burns even if I'm working with it for longer or extended periods of time. And that was really important for me when looking for an alternative for Sweet Snuggles Lite, that it does not cause me any friction burns and it feels really soft in my hands and it does not tire out my hands as does the blanket yarn. Then I already discussed this in similar thickness because it results in the same plushie size as well. Similar stitch definition, because if it is a different yarn then obviously it is going to give you a different stitch definition as well. And I was really used to the stitch definition of a Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn, that I wanted the yarn to give me the exact same thing as the Sweet Snuggles Lite. Then easy to work with. It has a good color range. I cannot like emphasize on this point enough. I have already talked about it quite a lot in this short duration of video here, but it has to have a good color range. Like previously, Homestem yarn had like very good color range. So this is one of their brown shades, and they also had like a true brown which looks something like the scarf that I'm wearing. They also had like some other shades as well. So there was quite a lot of variety of brown colors available and you did not feel like you're missing out on any color. But with the discontinuation of the Home Slim yarn line and like merging both of those lines and like having very select colors, you were really price is another important consideration when looking for a replacement, and we'll see like how it compares price wise. And then it should be good for amigurumi. Obviously, like you can use blanket yarns for amigurumi, but for me I think the texture of this Home Slim yarn or the Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn is much more preferable for plushies because it is softer than the blanket yarn. And I think those are all the considerations for me when looking for a replacement. And today we will be testing both of these yarns for all of these things and see if they are true replacement for each other and they are comparable. Okay, so let's just now compare the specifications of both of these yarns from the labels. So the loops and threads Sweet Snuggles Lite is this one, and this is the Parfait Plush yarn. And so from the label, it says loops and threads Sweet Snuggles Lite is super bulky size 6 yarn, and Parfait Plush says the same thing. And I think comparing both of them side by side, you can truly tell that they are both the same size, which I think is great because some of the yarns that are labeled size 6 yarn, they do not compare in size to the Sweet Snuggles Lite because they are quite a bit thinner to the Sweet Snuggles Lite. And this is really promising, the size of this yarn, the thickness of the individual strand, it is really promising. Then it suggests Sweet Snuggles Lite suggests using 8mm hook with the yarn, and Parfait Plush says to use 9mm hook. Okay, we're gonna see for that. And then you are getting 200 grams in one skein of Parfait Plush, and you get 250 grams in one skein of Sweet Snuggles Lite, which translates to 218 yards for Sweet Snuggles Lite and 174 yards for the Parfait Plush. And both of them are 100% polyester yarns. What else can we check here? So feel-wise, if you ask me, I think they both feel the same in hand as well. So let me just pull out the strands here and show you up close. If you can see both of these strands, if it focuses. Okay, so both of these strands, they look exactly the same. They feel exactly the same. Not exactly the same. This one feels a bit softer, but this is soft nonetheless. It is different kind of soft and this is different kind of soft, but they are both really soft. So if you compare them side by side, I think you can clearly see that they both look like the same yarn. So coming to the color selection, we have 36 colors available in Premier Parfait Plush, which is like a huge selection of colors. And if you can see from the screen here, and I think it will be better that I put a screen recording here. And if you see, you have like a good combination of blacks and grays, reds and pinks and blues and greens and browns. Especially, I think I see 1, 2, 3, 4 shades of brown, which is like really promising. So we have a chocolate brown, a rust brown, and then a teddy bear brown, and then a toffee brown, which is like a very muted like grayish brown. Not this one. Anyhow, moving on to the same color variations in Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 16, 17, 18, 19. Only 19 colors. And if I see 1, 2, 3 colors are variations of teal green, which I don't know like who is using teal green that much, teal variation of blue greens. But yeah, that doesn't like help at all. And we have like 3 variations, no, not 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variations of pinks and peaches. Like, I don't know who needs all of those peaches in a yarn. But yeah, so this is one of the main reasons that I wanted a replacement, because there is not a huge selection of colors to choose from in the Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn, and 36 compared with like 18, 19, you can clearly see like we are missing out on quite a lot of options there. Okay, so let's just look at all 3 strands of these yarns up close. And if you were to give me these 3 strands of yarn, honestly telling, I would not be able to tell which one is Sweet Snuggles Lite, which one is Home Slim, and which one is Parfait Plush. But just to give you an idea, so this one is Home Slim yarn, this one is Sweet Snuggles Lite, and this one is Parfait Plush. And if you look up closely, you can clearly see that all 3 strands of yarn are equal in their thickness. They look equally like soft and plush, and they all look exactly the same to the naked eye. And I'm feeling all of these yarns in my hand, and I can clearly like feel all of these yarns are similar in feels, so you would not be able to like tell a difference. I think Parfait Plush is a bit more like velvety or silky feel. These ones are a little less than that, and I think this is a good thing, going in favor for Parfait Plush as well, that it is a bit more softer compared to like these 2 yarns. Although it is like not a velvet yarn, it gives you the same hand feel, is what I'm trying to say. So I think it will be like really good to work with. I will still have to like see if it slips just like a velvet yarn does because of all of its softness, because that is something that goes in favor for the Home Slim and the Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn, that they're not like velvety feeling yarns, and so they do not slip in your hands while working with it, and so you don't have to like continuously adjust your tension while working with these yarns. But I'll have to test and see if that is the case with Parfait Plush. Now coming on to the shedding test, if we are to see how much they shed, so let's just test all of these strands side by side. So this is the Home Slim yarn, and we all know these yarns are notorious for shedding. So yeah, they do shed. No surprises there. Same goes for Sweet Snuggles Lite, and this is a newer skein of yarn after they like change the formula, or like in their words they what do you call it, improve the formula. It's still the same, it does shed, and I don't have like any surprises there. So let's just test this one out now. I think it sheds exactly the same way as the other 2 does. Okay, it's stuck now, but anyhow, it is shedding just like the other ones. And looking at like how it is shedding, I am really confident in saying that it is going to split on us as well. So we will put these to test. Okay, so now that we have observed all of these yarns side by side in depth, and we have done a post-mortem on them, we are going to do one more test on all of these yarns, and that test is going to be making a plushie with all of these yarns. And we are going to be making the same plushie in all 3 of these variations, and we are going to see if the plushie comes out the same size with the same hook used. And also we are going to see if they have the same stitch definition, which is also very important. And third thing, we are going to see if they feel the same while working with the yarn and making the plushie. Just as I mentioned, because of the velvety feel of the Parfait Plush, does it slip quite a lot in my hands? Do I have to like keep adjusting my tension and all of that shebang? So we can only judge that if we are to make a plushie with all of these yarns. And I have 2 plushies in mind. I don't know if I will be able to make both of those plushies in all of these variations, because I don't have quite a lot of like stock of homespun yarn. But yeah, let's just see what happens. How much time do I have on my hand? And let me just show you what plushies I have decided on making. Okay, the first pattern that I have in my mind is this sitting dragon pattern from Hooks and Healers. It is her new design, and I was really eyeing this design. I really wanted to make it because it looks really cute, and I think it is going to be a good quick project to make for this video. And the second option that I have in mind is this dragon and Pegasus pattern bundle from the Celestial Home Body. And I'm not too sure if I am going to be making the dragon variant or the Pegasus variant. We are going to decide for that. But the first thing that I am going to be making is the sitting dragon from Hooks and Healers, because yeah, I cannot get it off of my mind. Then we are going to see about this. This is the pattern that I already have purchased, but the other pattern I'll have to purchase. So let's just purchase the pattern first and then we can get to crocheting. I'm really excited for that, and I still have to like decide on what colors I want to use, because as I told you, I don't have like quite a lot of inventory in all of these yarns available. So I think the most inventory I have for the yarn is Sweet Snuggles Lite, and then I do have very select colors that I did not have in Sweet Snuggles Lite for Parfait Plush. So I'll have to get a bit creative with that. So let's just see. Okay, so I think I have made the decision on what colors I will be using. So for the chenille home slim yarn, I will be using these 2 colors because these are the 2 skeins available in my stash. So this color is called mustard. Not that you can find it online now, but this one is mustard and this one is seed pearl. So these are the 2 colors I will be using from home slim yarn. And then for the Sweet Snuggles Lite, I'm going to be using these 2 pinks. So the darker pink is called rose pink, or no, sorry, it's carmine rose, and the softer pink is called barley pink. Barely pink, sorry, not barley pink. It is barely pink. So these are the 2 colors that I will be using from Home Slim. And since I don't have quite a lot of yarn options available for Parfait Plush, I think I'm going to be combining. Oh my god, my yarn is stuck in my yarn winder. Ugh. And it is not good. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I think for the Parfait Plush, I'm going to be combining the 2 red colors, but I also have an option of using this toffee color, I believe. This is toffee color. So maybe we'll combine both of these. I'll have to see like if this red color goes with this one or not, but we'll cross that bridge when the time comes. But these are the options that I have for the Parfait Plush. So I'm really excited. Let's just get to work, and I think I'm going to start working with the Parfait Plush because that is the newer yarn in my collection, and I'm really itching to work with this yarn and see for myself. It has been so long that I wanted to make this video, and I could not like use this yarn beforehand and then give you my honest opinions and whatnot. So I was waiting for this video to happen in order for me to put this yarn to test, and I'm so excited that this time has come. So let's just get to work. I just cannot wait any longer. I will put you on time-lapse mode. I'll put something on in the background, and I will start making the plushies. As you might have seen me struggle with this yarn, this is not center pull friendly. Why? I mean, why? It was so hard to pull from the center, and I am still not able to find the center strand. Yeah, I will have to cake this ball up later. And yeah, I don't know. Why did it have to be like a very bad start? Okay, now I have found my tail and I'll get to work. Hello everyone, so I'm back and we are done with the plushies for the test for these yarns, and I wanted to record the whole process of me making these plushies, but unfortunately I could not do that because I was really busy, and I have made these plushies like taking a lot of breaks over like several days in smaller chunks basically, and so it was not feasible for me to record the process. And also I pivoted. I know I showed you the design that I wanted to make. It was Hooks and Healers mini sitting dragon pattern that she just released, but I realized really soon that it is too complicated to be used as a testing pattern for this video. And also I am currently on a time crunch because I am leaving for my camping trip tomorrow, and I had so many smaller things to do this week that I did not have quite a lot of time for crocheting. And yeah, I needed something simple and something that could be done quickly, so I pivoted. I looked in my pattern library and I found one pattern that I think was perfect for this test, and I made this mini low-sew eagle by Crochet by Jenna. I did not know that this pattern existed in my library but as soon as I looked at it, I was like, this is the perfect pattern. I went on and I made the plushies in all 3 yarns, and here is the result, and I will put an overlay video showing you all of these side by side as well. I made a little mistake in this one. I accidentally skipped a row, and that is why it looks more like rounded and egg-like and it is looking a bit shorter in height compared to the other ones. So yeah, here are all 3 of these plushies side by side. So this plushie is made entirely with loops and threads home slim yarn, and this one is made with Parfait Plush yarn, and this one is made in Sweet Snuggles Lite. I have used Sweet Snuggles Lite to make the feet of this one, and also Parfait Plush to make the feet of this one, because I wanted these colors and they were only available in certain like yarn lines, but I figured the feet are too small and like too insignificant to like alter the results of these tests. So let's just go ahead and see how these yarns behaved. So I guess I don't need to like say anything about loops and threads yarns, like both of these, Home Slim and Sweet Snuggles Lite. So I will just like tell you how was the experience working with this Parfait Plush yarn compared to both of these yarns, because I have been using both of these yarns for a very long time now. So as I said in my previous observation as well, this feels a little bit like velvet yarn, and I think it behaved like velvet yarn as well, where it was a bit slippery. So it is not completely a velvet yarn, so it wasn't as slippery as the velvet yarn, but it was a bit slippery. So the stitching, like while you are crocheting with this yarn, it does behave like velvet yarn, and sometimes like it gets too slippery, but it is not something that you cannot get used to. I think I was working with like all 3 of these yarns one after the other, and that is why I noticed it a lot more than I should have if, like, for example, this was the yarn that I first picked up and like just started crocheting with it. So in that regard, I think it is something insignificant, but again, I am an avid Sweet Snuggles Lite and Home Slim yarn user, so it is something that I really noticed. So if you are a complete beginner who is just starting out, like, and they encounter this yarn, or you have not worked with Sweet Snuggles Lite and Home Slim yarn before, and you pick up this yarn, then I think you will really love it. It's just something that my hands are not comfortable with, and I think I'll have to make a habit of using this yarn and like get used to this yarn before I stop noticing this thing. So as the stitch definition goes, I'll put this up closely. You can see like the stitches are really clear, just like they are with the Sweet Snuggles Lite and Home Slim yarn. I'll show 2 plushies side by side for you to be able to see, like, you do not see any difference in the stitch definition of both of these plushies. One thing that you do notice is that the texture of this yarn, while it is crocheted, is not as smooth as the Sweet Snuggles Lite. But again, this shows up as something similar to Bernard blanket yarn, or any blanket yarn for that matter, and not like the Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn, which is like really smooth. But that is also the case with this home slim yarn as well. If you see them both side by side, you'll notice this thing, and this is something that I'm not bothered by. As far as I'm concerned, if they feel equally soft in hands, I don't care like how they look. So you can see them close side by side, and you cannot tell a difference what yarn each one is. If like I were to guess which yarn this is, I would say both of them are same yarn just by looking at them and feeling them. Now I used the same hook, 6mm hook, for all three of these plushies, and I filled them up with the same stuffing as well, just to like keep this test fair. And I think the size is exactly the same. Yeah, I cannot tell a difference. I'm not comparing it with this one because I know for a fact this one is a little smaller, but comparing the width of it, because the increases are the same amount, I can totally see that all of them are equal in size. And so I think this is truly like an alternative for Sweet Snuggles Lite at this point. Okay, just to make it official, we are also going to be measuring all of these plushies one by one to see like if they actually are the same size, because visually they do look similar. So this is roughly 4.5 inches. Sorry, is it inches? Yeah, it is 4.5 inches. And that one was from Home Slim line. Now the next one is Parfait Plush, and let's just measure this one. So this one is also roughly 4.5 inches. So exactly the same size. And this one is going to be a bit smaller, as I told you already, because I missed a row in this one. So let's just do this. Oh well, it is also roughly the same size, but like less than 4.5. It is not reaching the 4.5 mark. And we knew that already. And just to like measure the circumference of all of these. So this one is Sweet Snuggles Lite, and we have 10.5 almost. The next one is this Home Slim yarn, and then we have 10.5 almost. And the last one we have is Parfait Plush. So moment of truth, almost 10.5. So yeah, they're exactly the same. So there are no differences in all of these yarns. So they're exactly the same. There is no doubt in saying that all of these yarns are exactly the same. I also went ahead and made these 3 square pieces with all of these yarns. So this one is Parfait Plush, this one is Sweet Snuggles Lite, and this one is Home Slim yarn. And I made these just for you to be able to see like all of these squares are equal in size. Like if I put them like this, you can see like they are equal in all dimensions. Like there is no difference in size with these. And also I wanted to show you the frog test on camera as well. So I will frog all 3 of these squares one by one, and we're gonna see like how the yarn ends up being at the end. So this one is Home Slim yarn, and this is what happens once you have frogged the yarn. You can see like there are some splits at certain places where the stitches were a little tight or something like that. So this is the normal behavior with Home Slim yarn and Sweet Snuggles Lite. I will also do the Sweet Snuggles Lite next. Here you can see it behaves like in a very similar manner, where you can see some splits in some places, and it is not as smooth as it was when it was brand new, but it is still usable. So this one was Sweet Snuggles Lite. Now the moment of truth with Parfait Plush. I already know, but it is for you. Okay, so this happens with some stitches sometimes. Okay, Now, can you tell a difference in any of these yarns? Like, I will put all of these side by side, and I don't think I see any difference. Okay, let's just put them side by side. Okay, so I don't think I see any difference in the quality after frogging. All of these frog the same for me. So if you see any difference, you let me know. But I don't see any difference at all. So they all frog the same. In that regard as well, they all behave the same. So the frogging test, they're all equal. And on the same note, sewing with these yarns is equally the same as well. So just as like Sweet Snuggles Lite and Home Slim yarn, they split sometimes while you are sewing with it. You have to be like very peculiar about how you're sewing your pieces for it to not split. You have to be the same way with this Parfait Plush yarn, because it also splits the same way as does the Sweet Snuggles Lite and Home Slim yarn. So let's just summarize all of these metrics together. I will put a table on the screen for you, and I will put the results there as well. So softness, I think they all feel the same. If anything, Parfait Plush is a little more softer and silkier compared to the Sweet Snuggles Lite and the Home Slim yarn, which I already told you. It does feel velvety to touch. Then the thickness match, I think we all have seen they are equal in thickness, and there is no difference in the thickness of all of these. The stitch definition, I think the stitch definition for all of these yarns is very, very, very similar. So I will mark that as a tie as well. Frogging, again, we have all seen together. They all frog the same, so there is a tie there. Sewing pieces, yes, so sewing is also similar. As we have seen, they do split. All of these split just the same while you are sewing the pieces, and you have to be like very peculiar about how you are sewing with this yarn. So there's a tie as well. Then the finish size of the plushies, as we have seen together, they are all equal in size. So again, since their thickness is the same, the final plushie will come out the same size. So color range, I think we already know who's the winner in this criteria. Parfait Plush is the clear winner, because that is the only reason I wanted to try out Parfait Plush as an alternative to Sweet Snuggles Lite, because Sweet Snuggles Lite was not fulfilling my color range needs, and Parfait Plush was giving me all the colors that I really wanted in Sweet Snuggles Lite. So yeah, Parfait Plush wins that. Availability, again, as we have seen in the past, the availability of Sweet Snuggles Lite has been like really unpredictable, and that is another reason that I wanted a replacement yarn. So I think and I hope that Parfait Plush is not the same. I have not seen any bad reviews about the availability of Premier yarns, so I would like to believe that availability of Parfait Plush is much better than Sweet Snuggles Lite. And I also hope that Michaels does not repeat like the same thing again this year, because for the past 2 years this has been the norm, where the yarns like they go out of stock and then there's no timeline of when they're going to return. So availability, I think I will give it to Premier Parfait Plush. And then overall replacement potential of the yarn, so I believe Parfait Plush is a winner here, because it has all the qualities that I was looking for in a yarn that could be a replacement yarn for Sweet Snuggles Lite. So I think I'm really happy that I did this test, that I purchased this yarn, and I came to know that this yarn existed, because I don't know, were you gatekeeping from me? Because I don't know, like nobody told me this yarn existed. I have been rambling about the Sweet Snuggles Lite and my struggle with finding a replacement yarn, and nobody on this YouTube channel ever commented below to let me know that this yarn exists and it is a true replacement for Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn. And I have read through lots and lots of Reddit threads where people are asking for a replacement for Sweet Snuggles Lite, and everybody is telling them to buy the Parfait chunky yarn, which in my opinion is thinner compared to the Parfait Plush yarn. And yeah, I don't know why nobody talked about the Parfait Plush yarn. I know I have spoken a lot about the color availability of Parfait Plush, but I really wanted to drive this point home. I will put both of the color selections for Parfait Plush and Sweet Snuggles Lite on the screen, and as well as like you can see on here, as I told you, we have like 36 colors available for Parfait Plush, and I see like quite a lot of range in and variety of colors available. And like unlike Sweet Snuggles Lite, where you just get like very limited color selection and then like a lot of like ranges in that specific color selection, as I told you, like there are 4 or 5 pink and peaches and 4 and 5 blues and blue greens. Parfait Plush seems like a yarn where you have like an all-rounded color selection, where you get your browns and your blacks and your grays and your pinks and your greens. Like I see quite a lot of variation in colors. Like there are 3 yellow colors here as well that I see reds and browns. Like you do have quite a lot of basic colors, and then you have quite a lot of like range of color varieties in those basic colors as well. So it, I think, covers all of the bases for plushie makers, where like you need all of your basic colors in addition to like pretty colors only. Because pretty colors, yes, you can make a special type of project with those pretty colors, but you do need your basics to like make your animals and your vegetables and your fruits and like all of those basic stuff that you want to make. I think people who are selecting colors for this line, they are putting quite a lot of thought into what colors to include in a yarn line. And also that shows in the colors that are available compared to like the Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn. I think Michaels should have put some thought into like when they were selecting colors from Home Slim yarn to include into the Sweet Snuggles Lite as well. I think Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn, in my opinion, was supposed to be a specialty yarn, and Home Slim yarn was supposed to be like a very basic yarn that would like give you all of your basic colors, and then if you wanted like some pretty colors or specialty colors, you could just go to the Sweet Snuggles Lite colors. And I think when they were combining it, they did not like think about like what colors to choose. I think they just rolled the dice and selected colors at random at whatever was coming up. I don't know. I don't know they put any thought into like selecting colors when they combined both of these lines and like just stuck with a few selected colors. I waited quite a lot before like commenting on this, because I thought maybe like they are just getting this yarn back into stock, and maybe they will introduce like a few colors down the line, because initially it just came back with the very basic 5 colors that Sweet Snuggles Lite initially came up with, and then they introduced some more colors after a few months, and then some more colors popped up after a few months again. And so I was hoping that they might introduce like some basic colors in that time period, but I guess they don't care. So to conclude, what is the final verdict here? Would I use Parfait Plush as a replacement yarn for Sweet Snuggles Lite? Yes, absolutely yes. So I have a few reasons, and again, I have noted them down here and I will be looking down. So the yarn feel is almost the same, like it is similar. It is not exactly the same, but it is not something that will bother you. So I believe you can say like they both feel the same in your hands. Again, my hands did not get tired while working with Parfait Plush yarn, so I guess that's a win for me. Then if you need more colors, definitely Parfait Plush is your go-to yarn. It includes all of the colors that you get in Sweet Snuggles Lite, plus a lot of colors that are not in Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn. So here's a win for you. But I would have to test it before giving you a final verdict of whether the shades available in both of these lines are interchangeable. For example, if you got this bubble pink in Sweet Snuggles Lite and you have skein from Parfait Plush in the same color, I'm not too sure if they both will be used interchangeably, because for these basic colors that are available in Sweet Snuggles Lite, I will be going to Michaels because that is easier for me and I will not be worried about the duties and all of that stuff. But if you're living in US and you're looking for an alternative and you want to like order online, then I guess you can find it out yourself. But I don't know like if the same shades available in both of these yarns will be exact same shade, or like will there be any difference? Because we see this happening in even like dye lot changes as well. If a dye lot changes, then there is a slight variation in the color of the yarn as well. So I cannot give you a verdict on that. We'll have to test and see for that. And can you mix both of these yarns in the same project? I have not done that, but looking at both of these plushies side by side, I believe we can. I don't see a reason why we cannot, but I'll still have to test it before giving you my final answer whether or not we can do that. But seeing at both of these plushies, I see them both equally. I do not spot any difference in both of these plushies. They are the same size, they feel the same, and there is no size difference in the thickness of the single strand of yarn as well. So I believe you can use them and mix them together in the same project as well. Okay, so now the question remains whether I will replace the Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn completely with Parfait Plush yarn, and the answer is no, and I have a very good reason for it. So I would have done that if the yarn quantity and the price was exactly the same as Sweet Snuggles Lite, and I was not like ordering it online. If it was available locally and I could just go into the store and like pick it up from the store, then I would have completely replaced the yarn. But Sweet Snuggles Lite gives you more quantity in almost the same price as the Parfait Plush. And also I have to order some colors from US where like there's an uncertainty of tariffs and duties and all of that stuff. So there's no mental peace there. So if it was something that is available locally and I could just walk into the store and pick up whenever I needed the yarn, then I would have definitely replaced Sweet Snuggles Lite with Parfait Plush, and I would get all of my colors from Parfait Plush line. But again, it is just my situation that I cannot do that. Otherwise, I would have loved to do that. So I guess that gives you my honest opinion. And I guess those are all of my thoughts, my opinions, and my experience working with the Parfait Plush yarn. Do let me know if you have used Sweet Snuggles Lite and Home Slim yarn in the past, and if you have been a victim of the quality inconsistencies with the Sweet Snuggles Lite. What changes did you make in your business when you encountered all of these things? I want to know all of your experiences as well, because that validates my experience with Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn as well. And also, do you use the Parfait Plush yarn? And what has your experience been like using this yarn? And did you already know like you could mix Parfait Plush and Sweet Snuggles Lite yarn? Like, did you know that they are interchangeable and they're exactly the same and nobody told me? Yeah, I would like to know all of that in the comment box below. And with that, I think I will end this video here, and I will hopefully see you in my next video. I hope you really enjoyed this video, because I really did. Despite the time crunch that I was under and I was struggling to complete this video, but I am happy that I did. I wanted to like start editing this video and like get it ready for the next week. So that was another reason that I was under a really tight deadline. So anyhow, thank you so much for watching, and do let me know what other kind of videos you want to see from me, what other comparisons you want to see me make. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy routines to like watch my videos and yeah, support my channel. I will hopefully see you in my next video. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and stay connected, and bye.